I grew up on Pennsylvania Avenue in East New York. Born and raised there till I was 11 years old, across the street from the East New York Jewish Center.
I grew up in Brooklyn also, Bay Ridge, Saturday Night Fever territory.
Completely different section of the world there I grew up, a lot different.
When he told me he was from East New York, I thought it was, I'd never heard of that. I thought it was in Manhattan.
Well, when we first got married, we lived in Manhattan Beach, which was a very nice part of town. Comac to me was East Hampton, the next town over from East Hampton. It came the holidays, someone had mentioned, friends of ours from the Hamlet said, why don't you try Chabad? It's, I think you guys might be interested in it. We're all going, we'd love to have you join us, walk in, and it was love at first sight.
For me, the face of Chabad is Rabbi Teldin and his wife Brooke, because they have been very warm and welcoming and the center of it for Carl and I.
We've shared a lot of simchas together, as you know. We've also shared some not so happy occasions to which I would daily be indebted. Unfortunately, 2 days before my daughter's wedding, unexpectedly my brother passed away of a heart attack, and we found him laying in his bed. It was 10 o'clock at night, 2 days before the wedding, and we really didn't have any place to turn. And the first call I made was Rabbi Mendy Teldin. And within an hour, everything was taken care of. He was buried the next day. And that's a day that I'll never forget as long as I live. Just that, you know, of all the people in the world, I didn't call a best friend, I didn't call a cousin, I didn't call an aunt, I didn't call an uncle. I called Rabbi Teldin, and he was there for us. We've had dinner with the Teldins, we've had Purim, we've been to the Sukkah, and the Teldins are quite unique people. It's that I think most of the people at the congregation wish they could give back as much as you give to us, and I hope you realize, and Brocha realizes, how much you mean to the congregation and to Rita and I. When I first tell friends that we belong to Chabad, you know, their first reaction is, I didn't know you and Rita were that religious. I think a lot of people have preconceived notions about what Chabad is and what you can do and what you can't do, that everyone's walking around in a black coat and a beard and payas, and you know, if you're not following every single rule, you're not welcome there, you're uncomfortable there, you're gonna feel like a stranger, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You don't have to keep kosher to belong to Chabad. You don't have to come every Friday and Saturday to belong to Chabad. Although it would be nice, it's certainly not a requirement. Rabbi Teldin always says, well, if you do one thing, and by the time you know it, you're doing 5 things. It might not be 5 things in one day, or maybe 5 things in a year, but eventually you get around to doing just one good thing, and you feel good about it. And I have to tell you, whenever I do any type of mitzvah, I feel great, and I feel great about the entire day. Certainly, Rita and I are very flattered and gracious that we're happy that we were chosen. We had mentioned to our friends that we were chosen, and they said, "Oh, well, are you building the rabbi a shul this year?" I said, truthfully, it's not about the money, because we certainly wouldn't be the honorees. And like I said, everyone in the congregation, Rita and we keep repeating the same thing, is that if we had the means, and I feel most of the people in the congregation had the means, you would have that building tomorrow. And we're still not ruling it out. We're still looking forward to getting that building for everybody, and not just for the Teldins and the Talesnicks and the Coopers. We're looking forward to putting that building up, and with a little help and God looking over us, we'll get that building up. And I thank the Rabbi and Brocha for the honor and Chabad. And I hope that we could live up to the reputation, and we're good honorees for this year.